Lord, if he sleeps, he will get well. However, Jesus spoke of his death, but they thought that he was speaking about taking rest in sleep. Verse 14. Then Jesus said to them plainly, Lazarus is dead, and I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, that you may believe. Nevertheless, let us go to him. Then Thomas, who is called the twin, said to his fellow disciples, let us also go, that we may die with them. Yes, Thomas. Verse 17. So when Jesus came, he found that he had already been in the tomb 4 days. He was waiting for at least 4 days. Definitely, after 4 days, Lazarus was dead. It would be the very good timing. His perfect time. However, in our eyes as human beings, we really expected Jesus to come earlier, to show one more miraculous sign. Just a healing sick man. It's a really great miraculous sign, right? However, Jesus, he had even much better miraculous sign to show those people to believe the fact he was sent by God, Father. That's amazing. Very good story. It's a true story. Verse 18. Now, Bethany was near Jerusalem, about 2 miles away. And many of the Jewish had joined the women around Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning their brother. Verse 20. Then Martha, as soon as she heard that Jesus was coming, went and met him. But Mary was sitting in the house. Now Martha said to Jesus, Lord, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died. But even now I know that whatever you ask of God, God will give you. God will give you. She seems to have very powerful faith to Jesus. Verse 23, Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. Martha said to him, I know that he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Martha, she definitely read the Bible very carefully. That's why she knew at the end of the world what would happen. Verse 25, Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, he shall live. And whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this? She said to him, Yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who is come into the world to save us. Verse 28. When she had said these things, she went her way and secretly called Mary her sister, saying, The teacher has come and calling for you. As soon as she heard that, she arose quickly and came to him. Now Jesus had not yet come into the town, but was in the place where Martha met him. Then the Jews who were with her in the house and comforting her, when they saw that Mary rose up quickly and went out, followed her, saying, She's going to the tomb to weep there. Verse 32. Then when Mary came where Jesus was and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying to him, Lord, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died. Therefore, when Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who came with her weeping, he groaned in the spirit and was troubled. Did Jesus feel really sad at the time? Let's keep reading more verses to figure out. And he said, Where have you laid him? They said to him, Lord, come and see. Jesus wept. Then the Jews said, See how the loved man, how he loved him. Sorry. And some of them said, Could not this man who opened the eyes of the blind and have kept this man from dying? He already showed very amazing miraculous sign to such people by healing the blind. Verse 38, Then Jesus again, groaning in himself, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone lay against it. It's really detailed, very detailed description. It's very detailed. Jesus said, Take away the stone. Martha, the sister of him who was dead, said to him, Lord, by this time there is a stench. It's a yucky smell. For he has been dead for days. What did she say to Jesus when Jesus said, I'm the resurrection and the life? Yes, Jesus, I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who is come into the world. However, she was really questioning. Just like us, right? Just like me. Maybe just like some of you. Verse 40, Jesus said to her, Did I not say to you that if you would believe, you would see the glory of God? Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead man was lying. And Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me, and I know that you always hear me. But because of the people who are standing by, I said this, that they may believe that you sent me. Yes, the whole story was intentionally designed to lead us into his righteous way. It's even much bigger miraculous sign. Verse 44, verse 43. Now, when he had said these things, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. And he who had died came out, bound hand and foot with great clothes, and his face was wrapped with a cloth. Very detailed description. That means it was a true story. Jesus said to him, Lose him and let him go. How amazing. Jesus, he controls life and death. He is the true God. We have to follow and believe. No God makes it like that. According to the book of John 11, verse 1 through 44, Jesus exactly knew what was happening to his beloved people, and also he exactly knew what would happen to them very specifically. Because our God, Jesus, is omniscient. That means He knows every moment, since He is the very God who controls time. He simply demanded Martha and Mary to follow Him, whatever He says. Verse 25 to 26, Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, he shall live. And whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this? Jesus, He wanted all the people, including the 32 women, to accept the fact that He was sent by God and He is the very God they've so far followed. Even though Martha and Mary, respectively, had some questions following His asking, like verse 34, where have you laid Him? He patiently, step by step, was going on His already planned way to prove He controls life and death. How patient God He is to us. How wonderful He is to us. Do you believe the fact that He is still guiding you personally through the Holy Spirit? Even though so many times we've had questions why, He was fully obedient to His Father and willing to die for our sin. And so generously, He's just sending the Helper, the Holy Spirit, to believe what He did for us. He's now commanding that we be fully obedient to Him, like He already did to His Father. Otherwise, what is happening next? What is happening next? There is another story in the Bible regarding this. According to the book of Joshua, chapter 1 through chapter 17. Don't be surprised. I'm not going to read all the chapters verse by verse. I can't today. God strictly tells us what we have to do as His children. The book of Joshua, chapter 1, describes God's commission to Joshua and the order to cross the Jordan. God kindly but determinedly encouraged Joshua to be strong and of good courage. Of course, God commanded Joshua he should follow the law He had given to the people. That means God expected him and all the people to be obedient to His words first. The book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 7 says, only be strong and very courageous, that you may observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded you. Do not turn from it to the right hand or to the left, that you may prosper wherever you go. Chapter 2 describes, as you may know, it's a really interesting story. Rahab hides the spies. Joshua didn't want to repeat the same result that they already made about 38 years ago when Moses sent 12 men to explore the land of Canaan. According to the book of Numbers, chapters 13 to 14, 10 of the 12 men were extremely scared of occupying the land God had already promised to their ancestors. But 2 of them, Joshua and Caleb, thought differently. They said, the book of Numbers, chapter 13, verse 30, let us go up at once and take possession, for we are well able to overcome it. What is worse? The 10 men really complained to Moses, saying that we better return to Egypt. They rebelled against God and refused to get His promise. You know, sometimes we may refuse to get something really great from others. Really politely. No, no thanks. I really want to take your true heart. Unlike this, if God is having a plan to give you something, we may not refuse. We may not. God really wants us to receive it with our faith. What will happen to them from God? All the Israelites over 20 years old, except Joshua and Caleb, were condemned to die in the wilderness. However, Rahab, who was prostitute, harlot, who was selling her body for a living. But she had already believed in God and His power through the two events made by Him. Let's look at the book of Joshua, chapter 2, verse 11. As soon as we heard these things, our hearts melted. Neither did there remain any more courage in anyone because of you, for the Lord your God, He is God in heaven above and earth beneath. It's really fantastic testimony. Our God saved not only her, but also all her families because of her obedience to His plan. Also, God made her a grandmother of David, and later also Jesus' ancestor. That's amazing, God's plan. One of the ancestors of Jesus was Rahab. How surprising it is. In human's perspective, Jesus should be born by the holiness we define. But God's perspective is different from ours. That's why we have to fully obey God's words when we have different perspective of something we thought it's really important. God is always right. And His words are always dependable and reliable to follow. It is proven through the book of Matthew chapter 1, verse